So next up, we're going to be checking out Pointless Hub's When Hollywood Made Two Asteroid Movies in the Same Year. I have heard about both movies. I know about Deep Impact. That's really all I got about it. I know it exists. I know it involved asteroids. I got nothing. Armageddon, though, I frequently talk about because it did inspire a lot of the actual defense of the planet based on finding asteroids. And if that's just an old wives' tale, I'm not going to believe that because I love what I've been saying, and it sounds way more funny this way. Also, Void Now, Don't Walk Home After Dark is the name of the YouTube channel. Oh, thanks for that one. But yeah, let's jump into this because it almost seems like we're getting a story of espionage here and someone trying to one-up a competing franchise. I just don't know which way it's going to go, though. But it involves Warner Brothers and Universal, so I'm sure nothing bad would happen whenever there's a Viacom company involved. That would be really awkward for it to happen more often than it already has.
A Hollywood studio. You want to make a movie about, I don't know, monster cows or something.
Did someone actually do that? You know what? Nope, never mind. They probably did that.
Everyone loves the monster cow idea. You greenlight the movie.
There's probably an entire audience just for that. Not the audience they're expecting, though.
Put millions of dollars into this fresh idea.
What the hell is that from?
But then, that's when you find out. Another studio's making a monster cow movie, too.
A24 DreamWorks Lionsgate. God. Yeah, that would do it.
How did this happen? Did they steal the idea? Was it just a coincidence? Doesn't matter now. I guess we just got two monster cow.
Killer bovines, monster cows. Regal, both. Oh, I haven't been to a Regal theater in... I don't even know if there's any around me at all, actually, that I even could go to, because the only one I can think of, I think, closed down. Because I can't, I think.
Movies releasing in the same exact year. These are called twin films. Sometimes Hollywood just makes two movies about the same idea in the same...
Wait, EdTV was the same thing? I've never even heard of this. Jenna Elfman, Matthew McConaughey, Woody Harrelson. I've heard of that name. I don't know who it is, though. Like, between these two, I don't know which girl is which. But Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson, I have heard of.
Year. Sometimes script ideas just float around and are picked up by studios. Other
Did someone just shop around? Oh, this one I've heard about, though.
times executives take ideas with them to their new job. It's a thing that
Yeah.
happens for some reason, and I find it incredibly funny.
Finding Nemo's Shark Tale. Oh, yeah. That honestly, they're such different movies. Even though they're both underwater talking fish, I never realized they were so thematically appropriately close. Just because they feel so incredibly different. Where Finding Nemo is generational, Shark Tale was just fun.
Like how Bug's Life is about an outcast inventor finally using his abilities to save his home, and how Ants is about Woody Allen in Starship Troopers. The year is
You know, when you put it like that, that's probably the biggest endorsement I've ever heard for that movie. Okay. I have no idea what this is. I want... Is that the guy who played Joey in Friends? Nah, probably not.
1998, a year which had literally
Mario Party, so some good things. Zelda, Crash Bandicoot, Half-Life. Oh, hey, I wonder when Half-Life 3 is coming out. Baldur's Gate, oh, that's not old. Fallout 2, StarCraft, Resident Evil, Sonic Adventure, Banjo-Kazooie. This was awesome, and then there's this thing. If you know anything about Mario Party, it's a great game if you really hate, absolutely despise, want to utterly destroy your friends.
every good game
Was
ever
I being told I was lost in space? And yes, that was Joey. Well, shit.
made, American Godzilla,
Yeah.
and for some reason, two movies about the Earth getting hit with an asteroid. Deep Impact and Armageddon.
I wonder if this was on the dinosaur craze that was really the big thing. So it's like, hey, what if the thing that killed the dinosaur happened now? If it turns out Land Before Time is what inspired this, I don't know how I'm going to deal with that. Also, Zero mentioned Mario Party 2 was your jam. Oh, God. I'll screen. This happens because Hollywood have no shame, steals ideas, no credit given to the creator if they can do it. That's what I'm assuming. So if it's not the case, I am going to be honestly fascinated.
Two films see humanity facing an apocalyptic threat. An asteroid, or comet, is about to hit the planet, and a small band of astronauts have to stop it. That is where the similarity between these movies end. Yeah, this isn't gonna be like that White House video at all, where they're...
White House video? Are they different movies? Oh, yeah, they are. I thought this was just an aged version of the other guy. Oh.
pretty similar with some minor differences. Oh no, these movies couldn't be farther apart in tone.
Really?
Now, we can't do anything about the little one, but, you know, it just might give them a chance.
Colonel! That thing's coming right forward! We got to move!
Oh yeah, I see the tone difference. Armageddon is very much the current explosions, hyperactive that we've been getting in most Hollywood blockbusters. And I'm assuming Deep Impact is more the thoughtful one that happens in the previous to the 80s cinema. Yeah, I think previous to the 80s is probably the right way to put it, where slow, lingering shots were more common.
Deep Impact...
Also, I've never seen this movie. I'm just taking a wild guess on the few seconds I've seen right now, because you have seen as much of me watching this movie right now as I have seen. It was just that.
Begins with Elijah Wood discovering a...
Wait, seriously? Okay. How many years before they started filming Lord of the Rings did this come out? Because he might have gone into the other one right after this. Hey, what's up, Laren?
Comet. A comet that's...
Also, I'm being told Armageddon was made by Michael Bay Yazak. Or Yazak. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Going to hit the Earth. Nobody knows it yet, though. Except for this guy. But for some reason, he decides to text and drive, and his car goes right off a cliff, and he fucking explodes. There's a real lesson there somewhere. Our real...
Don't drive explodable vehicles. It's the obvious choice. Like, every time you check your car, see if there's something in it that explodes. And then remember, the internal combustion engine is internal combustion. You're screwed. And then you're probably just going to drive into a tree yourself and nothing will happen because you're an idiot. You just drove like that. I'm not projecting.
Protagonist is this journalist lady named Jenny who works for MSNBC. Yes, that MSNBC.
They just dropped that in there?
You're gonna see a lot of MSNBC.
They funded this heavily, didn't they? Wait, was this right when they started being created? Because that would be one easy way to get their name into the news. Nah, I think MSN was already out for a while.
In this movie, they needed the promotion. They wouldn't have that guy with the board for like 20 more years.
Yeah.
There's a mystery afoot. The Secretary of the Treasury resigned. Apparently, the Secretary has been wrapped up in someone called Ellie. Is Ellie his mistress? The first 30 minutes are just her investigating this political scandal of a top government official in the executive branch cheating on his wife.
Okay, Dr. Disrespect is not the one I was expecting. Also, how old is this video? Because I think there's a few more things. Yeah, let's see. It doesn't actually say how old it is anymore. Oh, it does over here. February 10th, 2025. Okay, never mind. Oh, this was last year in February. I don't know when the allegations came out, but there was a lot more than cheating with his wife he did. Oh, for YouTube reasons, I'm not going to bring it up, but there were a lot of, oh God, what is wrong with you allegations? And text messages, and leaked messages, and oh God.
Congratulations. You now have the biggest story in history.
Fun fact, the Monica Lewinsky scandal broke in January 1998, and this movie came out in May. Talk about...
Actually, I just want to double check something quickly. When did Lord of the Rings start filming? According to AI, 99 in New Zealand. And according to Wikipedia, it was 97, 2004. So there's a very good chance Elijah Wood went from Deep Impact directly into Lord of the Rings. That's one hell of a follow-up.
Some timing.
Biggest story in history? What an ego. Now, if it was the president.
Anyway, while investigating these extramarital shenanigans,
Hey, psych. Nice. Good reference. If you don't know the show, it's utterly stupid and I love every second of it.
Jenny finds herself wrapped up in something far, far bigger. She gets kidnapped by President Morgan Freeman and is told—
How many times has he been the president? Actually, never mind with his voice. That is literally the best person to do anything important. If you had an executioner who sounded like Morgan Freeman, you'd be like, I will listen to anything you say. Press the red button to kill myself? If you say so, Morgan Freeman. Thank you, Morgan Freeman. Do I get to meet God, who also looks like Morgan Freeman? Oh my God, it was a delusion the entire time. Is he just typecast as the guy with the voice? I can't even say if that's like a previous thing or a current thing, because he still sounds like Morgan Freeman, because, hear me out, I think he might still be Morgan Freeman.
to shut up until they get a press conference around. While investigating further, Jenny finds out that Ellie might not have been a side girl at all, but perhaps might have meant ELE, or Extinction Level Event.
Ooh. That would be a thing. And yeah, the Monica Lewinsky started right before this, so they probably didn't have time to work that into the script if it was such a big part of the opening. Could they have? Yeah, but that would be a lot of immediate writing and reshooting to get that in. So probably not immediately added in, but not impossible either.
Ooh. It's so funny she discovers this by just doing an internet search. Literally.
Just a reminder, in the 90s, internet searches were not normal. This is pre-Google. And they're searching msnbc.com. They had to actually type in the entire thing with search as well. Ooh, yeah. Can you imagine there was an entire movie made about You Got Mail, which was the joy of, I don't know, I'm assuming getting emails and not getting one and being immediately ignored because it's just more spam. You're like, I hate this entire service and wish it didn't exist. I don't know, I haven't seen the movie, but it would be a nice change. Also, Golden, I'll pull up your comment 1 second. 1, thank you very much. 2, it is not late. My wife is here. Ah. Oops. I want my GPS to voice Morgan Freeman or Samuel L. Jackson. I mean, if it was Samuel L. Jackson, I'm the one driving. He would just swear at me all the time. You know why. Would you like to torture yourself? Check out this review of Sometime Randomly in the Sharknado series. Oh, God. Is Sometime Randomly the person doing it? Oh, sure, I'll add it to the list. But also, I'm a little afraid of what's in the list. Oh, God.
Only gets one option on the page.
This is completely unrealistic. The one option should have been a link to utter spam. 90s.
What a simpler time. I like these first 40 minutes. Enjoy the mystery of it. I mean, yeah, we know what the government is hiding. We all know what movie we're watching. But it's a decent way of building up tension. Having the protagonist uncover the information. The secretary basically admits the world's gonna end and it goes right over Jenny's head. I like stuff like that. And then the mystery dies. The president just lore dumps to everyone what's going on. Morgan Freeman expositions to the audience. A comet is coming. This is where comets come from.
Yeah. Also, it's funny that that's the second time in a major movie within 10 years of this that someone had an entire mystery that was immediately killed off by someone in power, like running a government, just telling everyone about it. And yes, if you understand, I am referencing Star Wars: The Clone Wars, specifically the movie. Because Obi-Wan was running around trying to find out what's going on with the clones, what's going on, how is this being made? And finally, oh, the government did it. Okay, neat. I'm hyper-simplifying, but not by as much as I should. It was a cool exploration of Coruscant and everything around it. It just turned out that it didn't matter because it was all revealed anyways.
This is what we named the comet.
Wolf Biederman.
Introduces the astronauts who are going to blow up the comet, just to make sure everyone's on the same page. Hey, look, it's Jon Favreau. From this point on,
Really?
This is now...
Wait, that's what he looked like? Oh, shit. Yeah, the guy makes movies. I've seen and heard of a bunch of them. Mostly heard more than seen, but yeah. Didn't realize that's just what he looks like.
It's an entirely different movie. Jenny gets relegated to news anchor for the rest of the film. The only thing she has to deal with anymore is parental drama. Her mom and dad are divorced, and she's not taking it well. The whole second act really falls.
Why would you put that into a movie where This movie had issues, didn't it?
Follows the astronauts, and for some reason, they're introduced as arrogant jerks. They're the new hotshots that think they're better than their old commander, Robert Duvall, an older veteran who literally went to the moon.
I got respect for everybody who's gone to the moon, but this mission ain't going to the moon.
That's right. Frank Gibbard, he was a great football player in his time, but if he played now, he'd get his ass busted. Let's go.
Who? Oh yeah, this is before Brady started doing, well, football until his time passed, and they just kept doing it. Here now, it's like, if you're in your 20s, you're a bit old for football if you're almost out of them. And I was like, so Brady's like, what, 50, 60? He still probably plays. Yeah.
Sorry, the Apollo program? That's old news. We're the new generation. We practice on simulations running Windows 95.
Played it. Never actually managed to land.
Why did they do that? It's so odd to introduce them like this. Real people, especially highly trained astronauts, would not act like this.
I mean, if there's one thing you always find out, if someone's hyper specialized, they're always able to be an asshole. But yeah, doesn't quite work. Which probably is why doing this in Armageddon worked out better, because a bunch of people who are unprofessional were not professionals. They were just dragged in because what the fuck are we doing?
What the movie's trying to do, they're jerks at the start, but through adversity, they come to appreciate Robert Duvall later on. But
Oh, really? It's all about them from here on out? Oh, I thought they were just going to be side men who were just like, hey, look how much of an asshole they are, so that when the protagonist does something, they appreciate it, or get clowned on, and you get the entire face-slapping genre going down. You can tell I've been doing a lot of Shishia writing and reading because I just made a reference to a trope in that entire genre itself.
The arrogance is laid on so thick at the beginning that I just kind of dislike these characters now.
And it's not a video game, son.
Hell,
Wait, was that the voice actor for the Halo guy? I don't know who actually voice acted the Master Chief, so I could be very wrong about this, but it'd be hilarious if that was the case.
we're not even halfway through the film, so I know they're gonna fail anyway.
It's not a video game, son.
Then the rest of the movie is them learning to respect their commander while floating out in space. Glad they all learned the important lesson of not being rude to old people. Except for Jon Favreau, he's fucking dead. With the nuke plan failing, Morgan Freeman announces Plan B, shooting The Rock with even more nukes. I find it even funnier how well the general public is taking this news.
I mean, do you got a choice about the matter? Also, funny thing, there was an actual plan to boop a comet. They wanted to see if they could actually change the trajectory of an interstellar object that was moving at a high speed by matching up with it and landing on it, or even just touching it. It worked. I think it was like maybe a year or 2 or 3 ago. Could be longer for all I know. But yeah, this is a thing that was planned out, and we did test it. And by we, I mean just the entire planet, because, oh god, it actually worked. We have booped a comet. And I think the probe did actually land on it, but more importantly, it got there at all, and then hit and landed and didn't destroy it. But also, if they needed to, they could. So there's a lot of really weird things going on right now, man. It's kind of cool, because I'm not sure if this is the movie that inspired it as much, but if both ideas are there, man, both ideas are there.
There will be enough of us left to rebuild a new world in the unlikely event that the comets do strike the Earth.
Like, Morgan Freeman tells everyone that if the meteor does hit, the world's gonna end. And they can only put less than 1 million people into underground bunkers.
Yeah.
Imagine if the president went on today and just told Americans they were all going to die. You think they'd be this calm? There's riots.
I mean, at this point, I could see Trump saying that, and then not understanding what he said, so sure, why not?
In other countries, I guess, but not America. The most armed population in the world, and everyone just stands outside these well-known bunkers only to be slightly sad. Other than exposition,
I mean, yeah, that makes perfect sense. We're well known to take bad news incredibly well. I don't see what could possibly be a joke about this sentence.
Morgan Freeman really doesn't do much, just sits around waiting for plans to fail. Remember how Elijah Wood discovered that comet? Well, he's got a whole subplot here.
He does? Oh shit, I thought his entire cameo was the entirety of it. Sorry, I just love the fact that he probably went directly from this into Lord of the Rings. It's like, I just got the biggest movie of my life at Deep Impact. What's this little thing about hobbits and like little forest people with furry feet? Sure, it's not going to be a big deal. And Isaac, would the government even tell us? It's even odds at this point because fuck it is a valuable reason. It really just comes down to maybe someone will get the right idea and there'll be a bunch of private funding to just nuke space orbit stuff. Oddly enough, blowing it up is, due to the math, a terrible idea because the same mass is hitting the Earth. You just be hoping that it'd be small enough to burn up, except that might not work. And you end up shotgunning the planet and having more damage. What you could do is just park something near it. Or you try and blow it up and explode a nuke to import enough force to change the trajectory so it doesn't hit. I mean, that's a very valid way. It's one of the reasons the moon exists, because something hit. But the moons around Jupiter exist because they were asteroids that were caught by a larger gravitational field because they were not on a trajectory that could make it through without getting dragged into something else. So that's not impossible.
I'm assuming they wanted to show a normal person's perspective on the whole situation, but it's not really done very well.
Oh.
There's an underage wedding. That's kind of odd.
What the hell?
Okay, so Elijah Wood and his family got accepted into the government bunker because he discovered the comet, right? Well, he wants his little girlfriend and her family to join them too, which is why the whole underage marriage thing happens. The US government saw through that clever disguise and forces her parents to stay behind, so she does too. So Frodo and his family reach the bunker.
I'm not the only one seeing it, right? Good to know. Frodo never gets a break.
But right before he goes in, he realizes that he needs to go back and save her somehow.
I have to go back for Sarah.
That's supposed to be an American accent. I'm not even sure if he's doing an act or not, but I just hear Shire every time he speaks. Oh.
Mom, I'm going.
Kinda seems like a decision you should have made before getting on the bus, but oh well. He's confident though that he can go back.
Very different movie. It's returning from Mordor to the Shire to then return to Mordor.
Can get her somehow before the comet hits. His parents
still would make more sense than everything to do with Tom Bombadil. Crazy character. Did not fit in the story.
Hear this plan and just let him do it.
I'm gonna make it.
Oh, son's dead.
You don't even argue against this idea, which is certainly fatal. His very own father looks at his 14-year-old and goes,
oh, when they said underage, they meant 14. I thought it'd be like 17, maybe end of 16, going to 17. It's like, okay, I don't like it, but okay, sure. It's kind of gross, but okay. 14. Was someone backing this movie named Weinstein by any chance? Also, Mo, thank you for joining the membership, the clean shaven level. Thanks, man.
okay, have fun. Even if his parents believed he could save her, neither of them go back with him to make sure he finds her safely. Or, you know, survives. They all just go into the bunker. The world is literally ending and they just wave their kid off on a journey across Middle-earth, staying behind in the actually safest place you could possibly be. After the missiles fail, Morgan Freeman gets on TV and just tells everyone they're gonna die.
And there's nothing we can do to stop them.
Would you say it's time for everyone to panic? Yes, I would, Ken.
He is just not holding back.
So this is it. If the world does go on, it will not go on for everyone.
Most of Deep Impact is about the emotions of it all. Preparing for the inevitable, reflecting on the end. Do we reconcile with family despite past grievances?
Oh yeah, they did a retake on this exact idea recently, except it was less we're going to try and stop it and more we're fucked. How does the end hit? A smaller movie called Melancholia. I've heard about this. I utterly despise it. But I also just generally don't like these hyper depressing, everything's fucked, nothing is going to happen, everyone's screwed, deal with the depression of existential nihilism without any hope. Ugh. Sorry, it's a personal take. I would probably hate this movie if I had seen it. So apparently I had a better take on it than I thought I would.
Or do we straight up off ourselves like Jenny's mom did? Oh boy. Jenny's mom's entire arc is just so depressing. Her husband leaves her for a younger woman, right? Basically destroys their family for no good reason. And when she hears the news that nobody over the age of 50 will be let into the bunkers, she just gives up and ends it all. So after that first detonation failed, the comet split in two, with a smaller fragment of the comet going to hit Earth before the bigger one does. And the smaller fragment actually does hit right into the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. Whenever anyone actually remembers Deep Impact, this is the scene they remember.
Oh, that's from Deep Impact? For some reason, I always thought that was The Day After Tomorrow, which is also a disaster movie. The more you know. Also, I think people have mathed out. It doesn't really matter where it hits, you're fucked. Except that one actually might get blunted by the Appalachians, so it would be a lot less horrible for the American continent. Europe, I don't think has any survivability from that.
Jenny decides to give up her place at the bunker to save her friend. She decides to reunite with her dad on the beach they once went to as a family. They share one final moment together as the wave comes in. Fans of the movie really like this scene.
Have they tried surfing? You know what? Unironically, there's probably at least one person who'd be like, I'm going to surf the biggest wave of my life, so help me. Is it dumb? Yes. Would someone try and do it? Yeah, I mean, go out doing what you love, man.
I get it. But this just makes her mom's death even worse. Like, her mom died alone and depressed, all because of her dad.
I feel like an orphan.
Yet at the end of the
Does she become Batman next?
movie,
Also, purple. What about the Southern Hemisphere? Depending on where it hits, it could get blunted just by having to lose power. Depends on how big it is. It could make it, or who knows? Maybe things would happen differently. And technically, one of the ways you could theoretically counteract a tsunami is with a nuclear explosion. Nuking the water for its own reason is also a bad option, but that is one of the ways people have forecasted as a way to disrupt both tsunamis and tornadoes and hurricanes and typhoons for obvious reasons. Usually not a good idea. And I don't think they could do a short notice, but yeah, that technically might be one way to stop the wave. The problem being anything that still comes in carries all the fallout right into shore. Yeah. Any island nation's more or less stripped, though.
He just does a 180 so we could have this final scene.
Daddy.
Although, to give you an idea what IRL massive waves this size would look like, there is an old Japanese painting called The Wave, which has been correlated to the last time the Cascadia Fault in Washington State on the North American continent went off. It is correlated both with the residue from that in Japan, which was recorded and memorialized, as well as the sediment layer matching it, which would line up with a large seismic event followed by a tsunami that basically wiped out everything that would have been in what is modern-day Seattle. That is a very large fault. And if it goes off, there's a lot more people now, but that's just across the entire Pacific Ocean where it had time to die down. Yeah, we've had waves that big before. It might not be as big as the wave in this one, but also it wasn't small in the slightest. This was multiple tens of meters. I think it was 30? I can't remember if it was 20 or 30 meters tall.
I don't know, maybe if they didn't have the mom die like that, this wouldn't leave such a bad taste in my mouth. Have her die in an accident or something. Fall down the stairs. Slip on an ice cube. Where was I?
Why specifically a Wendy's? Did that actually happen? Maybe I shouldn't go to Wendy's. I mean, probably shouldn't regardless, but still.
Oh yeah, Elijah Wood dirt bikes up a mountain to escape a tsunami.
I mean, they're not wrong. High ground, man. It's technically a very valid thing. Ooh, also, Golden. Yeah, where it is. Ah, here we go. Croc. Fun fact, one of the largest mega tsunamis in recorded history was the Italian Alps mountain collapse to water reservoir. Oh, yeah. Because they're essentially drop tsunamis. They actually happened at calving glaciers. I think it's calving glaciers, where bits of it fall off into water. This is not what happened here, of course, and I haven't heard of this one, but I know what it means when you drop something into steady water. A lot of water goes moving really fast in really short areas. It's terrifying when you look at it, man. It's also why when there's bits of glaciers on the edge of a lake and you see all the trees stripped around it, shit just happened. And according to Croc, it was 262 meters tall. God damn. That is huge. Sounds like something people would make a video of. Probably is actually videos of it.
The astronauts sacrificed.
Also, I'm being told in America that's 860 feet. Yep. So that wave would still be under some of the mountain ranges. I think the place I live is at 700 feet, and we're on the other side of the mountain. The short line leading up to the mountains would probably be fucked, though.
Sacrificed themselves to destroy the bigger comet, and everyone is saved. You know, except for the ones that weren't.
I'm just ignoring it.
Humanity may be battered. Millions may have died.
Why do I think I've seen this? I think this is from a game. I just don't know what game. And it looks incredibly familiar to me. Unless this is just bad CGI they put in the movie.
Battered. Millions may have died. But at the end of the day, the federal government of the United States survived.
This is unrealistic. A wall of water that big would utterly destroy most standing things right on the water. Further in, if it had been at an odd angle where a lot of force might have been lost, maybe. But these buildings would be gone, man.
Survived. And isn't that all that really matters?
If you don't trust the men you're working with, you're as good as dead.
Armageddon begins with all the dinosaurs on fire. This is a movie called Armageddon.
Huh.
This is what the Earth is gonna look like unless Bruce Willis stops it. But in case that didn't go through your thick skull, here's the space shuttle exploding.
Oh, this happened right after Columbia, didn't it? Oh, no, was it right before or right after? Oh, God. That actually might be right. Oh, no. How recently after some of these events did it? Oh, no, it's right before. Oh, it was 2003. Oh, this was just a few years prior to that happening. Oh, there's a non-zero chance the people who are on that shuttle watch this movie. That is a really morbid thought. I'm not going to think about it. And this movie came out in 98. Yeah. Ooh.
Hell, have New York explode too. Especially this guy. They really did this guy dirty. All he was trying to do was protect his Godzilla, and he gets absolutely obliterated.
Dead.
At least the tower survived.
Forgot about that.
There's an asteroid on
My wife is in the other room. She just caught up with the stream. I even heard her go, ah!
the way, and they got 18 days to stop it. All the nerds have dumb suggestions, except for Lucius Malfoy, who says that
seriously?
to destroy the asteroid, you're gonna have to drill into the center and blow it up from the inside. There's only one man for the job, and that's Bruce Willis.
Yeah. The thing is, when I've been talking about booping an asteroid, a lot of that requires you to have way more advanced notice than 18 days because you need orbital dynamics to mean even a small change plays out into a big enough change in trajectory to miss the planet. 18 days would not be enough.
In the movie, he's actually named Harry, but it's a lot funnier to say Bruce Willis. Harry/Bruce Willis is an undersea oil driller. And I'm not even joking, the way they introduce him is as he's shooting golf balls at Greenpeace protesters. Joke's on him, though. Ben Affleck's banging his daughter.
What?
Funny for a minute, it's not funny anymore.
What a way to introduce these characters. This is just the first 15.
It's a Michael Bay movie, all right. Inappropriate relations with the family of the guy who's armed on a very volatile station. It's a good thing there's not a record of oil refineries or oil derricks or rigs, I think oil rigs in the water having problems. Otherwise, that would be really awkward to start shooting around it.
Minutes, by the way. In the same span of time, Jenny was interviewing the Secretary of the Treasury.
Turn the camera off.
Meanwhile, Armageddon is doing this.
I love her. Way wrong answer.
So yeah, the plan is simple. Get
Oh, Deep Rock Galactic. I've heard good things about this one. Never got into it myself, though.
the best drillers in the world, shoot them up into space, plant the nuke, hope for the best. Billy Bob Thornton and Keith David now have to make sure Bruce Willis and his gang of morons are up to the task of deep space travel. Let's introduce our little Suicide Squad, shall we? There's Chick, Harry's...
Spoilers! Or is that more foreshadowing? Also, Brandon, the towers were destroyed in a lot of media, looking back perhaps to a ridiculous degree. Yeah. And Magnetar mentioned Red Alert 2. The Soviet campaign did the same thing in 2000. October 2000. Not even a year. Oh, geez. Close to a full year, but not quite there. Croc. DRC stream? I'm sorry. I'm utterly pulling a blank on what DRC means. Also, ooh, Raw. One. Thank you very much, too. It'll eventually load in. Hey, Airier, I know you do not take requests, but since you talk about writing your novel, I highly recommend watching this Trope Talk, Those Dang Phones. It will make you think, should their equivalent exist in fantasy? I mean, there's always the Palantir. Not to be confused with the tech Palantir, which is admittedly being used by a bunch of evil people in towers. Maybe that was actually named incredibly accurately, because it was also used to surveil the good guys. Never mind. The name is perfectly fitting. I'm just going to add this in because why not? That is not what I meant to highlight. Raw. Sup? Yeah, the thing I'm writing, though, is very, very experimental. Also, technically AI drafting, because if you have it set up for writing prompts after the end of when you hit something, it actually is really helpful getting over any type of writer's block. Because like, well, here's 3 options you can write. It's like, these are dumb, but now I have an idea. It's kind of interesting. Also, if you ever used AI prompts, they're shit. But just having them is kind of useful in its own right to just get your mind working in the right direction. But seriously, they're legitimately shit. Utterly, completely shit. But for a first draft, unless you're the kind of crazy person who writes a first draft as your last draft, those guys do exist. They're terrifying. I'm not one of them. Usually I'm going to have like a dozen edits and it'll be completely different by the time the ending. Like what I think is the end right now might actually be the ending. Hey, what's up, Cosmic? Don't get any ideas from anything that we've done today. Don't go back in the video and check anything out. You saw nothing.
Number 2. He's divorced and a gambling addict. Steve Buscemi is a sex pest. Max is fat. Michael Clark Duncan is Michael Clark Duncan. And Owen Wilson is here too.
Wait, what?
I entirely forgot.
Oh, he was in this movie! I recognize most everyone else. Hell, I knew Steve Buscemi was in this one. Actually, this is
Gambling addict. Steve Buscemi is a...
That's considering there was the entire thing about the towers being hit. Just a random thing aside, and I think this is something not quite related to this, but very much worth mentioning. On that day, Steve Buscemi was in New York. He went to the fire department, not sure if it's the one he used to work at because he used to be a firefighter before he went into acting, and he just volunteered because they needed bodies and he actually knew what to do as a firefighter because it was his job before. Yeah. I'm just going to keep pointing that out because unironically, the guy got balls, man.
Sex pest. Wilson is here too. who I entirely forgot was in this. He fucking dies. Will these chuckle nuts have what it takes to save the world? Who's to say? Half the movie is them on Earth doing wacky hijinks preparing to go to space, and the other half is them being in space. Also, there's that weird scene in the middle with the animal crackers. You know the one.
I am forgetting so many things. Okay.
If Deep Impact was an intellectual nerd, Armageddon was the jock shoving that nerd in the locker. Deep Impact treated the entire situation of an outer space object potentially hitting the Earth in a quasi-scientific and all-around serious manner.
Although completely unrealistic in the sense that people were actually well-behaved and, you know, calm. Like, way too calm. Way too calm. They're looking at the end of the world. They're not actually showing a bunch of random shit happening. Unironically, I think the biggest thing is it didn't start with, okay, Pakistan and India are now nuking each other because if they have no reason left to hold back, fuck it. Spite. Then them being the only ones would be weird in its own right. Also, Taryn, PointlessHub has a series covering Transformers films, including the newest Transformers 1. I don't remember if we watched that vid or not. I have not seen that because I only know about Transformers 1 by people telling me in the previous Transformers videos I've checked out to watch Transformers 1 specifically. Need to do that eventually.
Meanwhile, Armageddon went, holy shit, there's rocks fucking falling from space.
Yeah.
I like Deep Impact.
Also, funny thing is, meteors actually hit the Earth all the time. Like, that's a thing that just happens, but usually they're very small. People have, and I'm not joking about this somehow, survived being hit by tiny ones. I don't know how either. It sounds weird. Because it was a headshot. Like, they got hit in the head. And they survived. And then they're coming out like, they'll find holes in the car. Because this does happen. The most famous near miss, and I do mean miss, was recent, probably within the last 10 years, where one of them was flying over Russia, and it was recorded extensively by dash cams, showing as it went through and blew out windows as it went by, and then exploded over a lake, I think in a very isolated area, near a city, but not in the city. It was a city killer size asteroid. It didn't hit a city, though, and hit an unpopulated area that just managed to not do it. It also exploded in the air, not the ground, so the impact was still big. Airburst is nothing to be, quiet about, but it didn't have nearly the, oh god, what the fuck, that it could have been. I think it was the size of a bus. Yeah. Crazy how that has happened within everyone's here's lifetime, most likely. Because if you're so young that this is not within your lifetime, okay, you should probably not be on the internet when you're less than 10 years old. Dear God, don't tell me this is actually more than 10 years. I don't believe it's that old.
I appreciate what it's...
On the other hand, if you're 10 years old and you already know how to get on YouTube this well, you're probably smarter than me, so maybe I shouldn't be telling you not to do that.
Trying to do. Explore an end-of-the-world scenario in a grounded way. Nothing wrong with that. Those behind the film tried their very best to be as scientifically accurate as possible. And that's respectable. Really? Even if it wasn't perfect, it's the thought that counts. If someone says they like Deep Impact more, I get it. With that said, though, I fucking love Armageddon so much more, man.
This is so much fun, it's freaky!
You know this channel, you should have seen this coming. It's a Michael Bay movie, like of course I was gonna pick it.
I thought that was Tom Cruise for a second. That's Michael Bay, isn't it? That's a lot of hair on him. That's a lot of hair. I don't know why, that's the part that kind of freaks me out. Also, being told it hit a lake. I'm being told by my wife it hit a lake. Okay, yeah, I definitely don't believe that. And I'm not running away scared for any reason. Also, Croc, it was 13 years ago. Goddamn. Doesn't duck. It had 3 times speed till now because it had a salesperson come in. Oh, God.
Even after I'm done with Bay...
Transformers, War Crimes, Agent of Consent. It's over. They have an entire series. Yeah, people mentioned that in the chat, and that's completely accurate. Also, Raw 1, thank you very much, too. It is not loading. I have to surely miss that one. That's the problem. They do that. From my experience, when in crisis mode, they are surprisingly calm. It's when nothing is happening in between major events that people stop to think is when people do stupid things or riot. Yeah, no, I've seen that. If you ask people to leave a room orderly, they'll panic. If it's an actual problem, they might also still panic. but people are generally good about it. It really is just a toss-up, and I could see either one happening. I've seen people in a problem situation act orderly. I've also seen people in problem situations do so many stupid things. Yeah. Also, Croc, unless there's one you missed, it's entirely possible, because that does happen. Free cookies? I don't know why. The second I saw cookies duck, I started getting hungry. I ate before the stream. What the hell, man?
Transformers, I still can't escape him. Despite this whole parasocial relationship between me and Bay beginning with that video about Transformers 2007, that was ironically not my first Michael Bay film.
Really?
This was. Even to this day.
What other movies did he make that we just kind of know about but don't realize are his? There's probably a few. You know what? No, fuck it. I'm here. We're going to do it. Let's just indulge in this random other movies Michael Bay has made. Movies by Michael Bay. I misspelled the word Michael, considering that's my name. Oh, I spelled it right. Sorry, I'm just used to misspelling things. Wow, he has the same haircut now. It's just blonder. That is weird. Okay, we got Bad Boys, The Rock, Armageddon, Pearl Harbor, Bad Boys 2, The Island, Transformers, Pain and Gain, Transformers, 13 Transformers, Underground Ambulance, We Are Horror. He made Pearl Harbor. You know what? Suddenly this makes more sense. Okay. Armageddon was his third director movie after Bad Boys and The Rock, but before Pearl Harbor. Oh God, Pearl Harbor came out in 2001. Maybe it's just because the tower stood in this movie. Oh wow, that is a lot more on the nose than I remembered. You know, a movie about a attack that triggered a massive war across the entire world. Really awkward that it happened again. Like, they made a movie about the same year it happened again. Dear God, I don't. Also, according to Golden Vexy, Michael Bay was also the primary producer of he was the primary producer of A Quiet Place. Maybe that movie's a lot different than I thought, but okay, sure.
Hey, when I think about Michael Bay action, Armageddon is what mainly pops into my mind.
Yeah.
Hell, since I brought up Transformers, so many Bay elements that are famous in those movies have origins in this one.
Oh shit, yeah.
Shots that
He
were
just redid them.
Asteroids, Michael Bay's obsession with NASA, ethnic stereotypes.
I mean, to be fair, the obsession with NASA is just completely valid. It's awesome.
Wait, fuck. Is Armageddon the beta test of Transformers? Like the
Oh shit, it is.
Halo Macworld demo?
What?
Or is Transformers an evolution of Armageddon? Certainly something to think about.
Is it
as
an
much
evolution,
as someone
though?
can argue that Deep Impact is the better film, it's certainly not as interesting to talk about. Unless you want to compare it to this, of course. Hell, just compare these two openings.
Yeah.
Deep Impact's is silent, a white, clean font on the night sky, and Armageddon starts with the extinction of the fucking dinosaurs.
It does feel, like I said in the beginning, it's the difference between the slow, thoughtful art film style, where you get a lot of deep reflection and lingering shots that were much more common prior to the 2000s, even prior to the I think there still were some in the 80s, but I know a lot more old films did that, versus the Bay style that is the default for blockbusters. I guess it's not even that. It's more pre-Jaws, pre-blockbuster film versus post-blockbuster film styles of movies. Also, Orr mentioned Bay also produced The Purge. Yeah, that makes sense.
Even the title explodes. The comet in Deep Impact is discovered by a couple of nerds doing astronomy stuff.
Yeah.
And when they spot it, they have at least a couple of years to prepare for its arrival.
Really?
The asteroid in Armageddon does a sneak attack.
He's a breach in the atmosphere from...
Oddly enough, Armageddon is more realistic. Because the asteroid we previously mentioned that hit 13 years ago, apparently, is exactly what happened. We didn't know about it until it was in atmosphere. we do find a lot of asteroids before they're in trajectory of the planet, and we can kind of say, it's close, but it'll pass between the Earth and the Moon, which sounds really close, but that's a long distance. That's not a close orbit. To give you an idea, the Moon is big. It is the biggest moon in the planet. In the solar system. There are planets smaller than Luna, the Earth's moon. Pluto, Mercury, maybe Venus, but I'm not sure about that one. But yeah, there's a lot of them that are just smaller. By all rights, the only reason we consider a moon is because it's the only one we have, and because I think it's the condensed rings of the planet that eventually did after there was a large impact that broke off a chunk of Earth into space. It's also why there's similar mineral composition up there as down here.
Finland down the North American seaboard.
It's only when the space shuttle explodes and when New York City is an absolute devastation when anybody at NASA notices that an asteroid is about to hit in 2 weeks.
Yeah. Here's the crazy part. For a comet, it's not impossible for there to be things ahead of it. For a meteor, it's not impossible for things to be ahead of it, because sometimes they come in clusters, where it's like the Halley's Comet is not just the only comet. I'm pretty sure there's others around it. There could be shooting star swarms. So it might not just be a single bit of debris. It could be things, there's the big main one, but then there's all of the little ones that may be in advance or behind it. So having a pre-shot is not scientifically impossible, but something this big, having things also visibly detectable, that would be weird. Unless it's actually incredibly common, I just don't know about it, which would be terrifying. No one correct me about that, because I would like to sleep tonight. Also, Cosmic just mentioned Ganymede is the biggest moon in the solar system, apparently. Ganymede is, I think, Mars? No, probably Jupiter. Probably Jupiter. I would have sworn it was Luna, though. Also, Magnar, isn't Titan bigger than Luna? It's Jupiter, so maybe the size is wrong, but I thought Luna was unrealistically large for moons. Not sure about Titan. Also, Valley Ranger Gaming mentioned we have a second moon. Oh yeah, wasn't there an asteroid that was captured by the Earth, but is only temporary, though? Also, Golden, isn't there an asteroid that has a 1 in 48 chance of hitting sometime in 2032? Probably not quite to those odds. And Cosmic mentioned, yeah, there is currently a second moon, an asteroid moon. Oh yeah, I did remember hearing about how we captured one. As for chance of hitting, depending on how big it is, it might not be a big deal. Because I mentioned before, Earth does get hit by a lot of things pretty frequently. And the dark side of the moon is littered with the ones that missed us because its gravity well drew them in. Orbital dynamics are kind of crazy because big gravity wells do just draw things off orbit pretty frequently. Also, if we know there's something with that low of a chance, they could probably plot out how it's going well in advance. Like if it's 2032, if it was going to hit, they could already path that out because orbital mechanics are, again, very fascinating. But if you know where something's at, you can find out how to adjust it and find out exactly where it's going. It's why there's been plenty of events that have been close to Earth, but they know it's going to thread the needle in a way where doing anything might change that in a bad way. So doing nothing means it'll just miss, but it's still a miss. It's fascinating when you get into it. The dangerous ones are oddly enough the ones in Armageddon where you only find out about them when it's too late. Because that does happen. But you don't know anything, so you can't plan anything, so you're not ready for anything, and you can't get something up there fast enough, so maybe sending a nuke and a missile is the best option because trying to impart enough force is the only way to change it on a short notice. Maybe, maybe not. We'll find out. But it's a horrible situation if you don't have the time to react. Anything where there's a couple years leeway, though, you can do a lot of different things to just subtly adjust the trajectory. And to quote my wife in the chat, the boop method. Yeah, kind of exactly that. Also, Cosmic mentioned Luna is like the 5th largest off the top of your head. And Hurricane mentioned Ganymede is the largest moon in the solar system with a diameter of 3,275 miles, which is 5,268 kilometers, making it larger than the planet Mercury. Yep. Also, go and mention the rock is roughly 40 to 100 meters wide and has the highest chance ever recorded of one that size. 100 meters wide, so essentially a football field. No, that's meters, not yards. Sorry, I'm having a hard time converting that one. Also, Nerdja, sup, man? Yeah, for the next one? Yeah. YouTube, I don't know why, but I did a Humanity Fuck Yeah video 500 days ago. And as of the last 3 days, it's doubled its views. I don't know why, so I figured, sure, why not? YouTube's telling me something, I might as well listen. And also it looked good. Also calls me, this is why we should do things in space? Yeah. Just the people doing it, it's just kind of crazy that they are doing it, though. There are actually deep space reconnaissance programs. This is all very real things, and accurate mapping of the planet is fascinating. Also, let's not talk about what it would be like if space debris became so prevalent that it actually prevents us to ever send things into orbit, because that's actually a problem that is becoming more relevant. So let's not think about that, because it's really dark, really fast in context of this film.
An asteroid the size of Texas. My personal favorite comparison is the very name of the bodies themselves. Deep Impact names its comet after those that discovered it. The combined name of Wolf Beaterman. A realistic and kind of
Wolf Beater. That sounds like a joke, yeah.
Boring name, but it fits the tone of the film. I could imagine actual scientists of the 90s naming this thing.
Considering how many scientists make joke names a thing, there are multiple things with Lord of the Ring references in them. I could see it being given a little more leeway.
Armageddon's asteroid, on the other hand, is named Dottie, named by this guy after his bitch wife.
I want to name her Dottie after my wife. She's a vicious, life-sucking bitch from which there is no escape.
This has also happened. I'm not joking. You can look it up. I won't, because I'm happily married. I love you, dear, but this has happened.
What's the one thing people always make fun of Armageddon?
Also, I'm being pointed out by Magnetar. Ganymede is not just bigger than Luna, but also bigger than Mercury. Yep. Also, Mercury is just really small.
Armageddon for. What's the most common joke everyone says that many are probably commenting right now? It's the
What were they typing out? Here's a funny joke I've seen on Reddit a lot, but I'm sure it'll get a bunch of upvotes for you troglodytes if I repost it here because you're all incapable of original thought, so I'm just going to regurgitate this vapid sensation of joy I get from being noticed. How do you write all of that without a single period? Also, I'm surprised at myself for being able to say all of that without taking a breath. Neat. Lung capacity. Fun.
It's the classic question. Why send oil drillers into space instead of just teaching astronauts how to dig? Haha! Being an astronaut is a far harder job than being an oil driller, so this movie is stupid. Michael Bay, you dumb fool.
You fucking idiot.
There's an often repeated story about how in the DVD commentary, Ben Affleck just makes fun of the whole premise of the movie.
I asked Michael why it was easier to train oil drillers to become astronauts than it was to train astronauts to become oil drillers, and he told me to shut the fuck up.
Yes, how hilarious. That's what made...
I mean, my initial thought was because it makes more sense for these characters to be real people who do a job that lets them speak more freely, as opposed to what they did in Armageddon, where having that same level of discourse from highly trained astronauts feels completely wrong. So to get the same thing, it doesn't really make sense for astronauts to do it, and would very much change the tone of the movie. But that's just my take. I was like, yeah, that makes sense. I'm not sure if that's where they went with it, but that's what I was always thinking, at least with my headcanon.
Makes this movie so silly. Nobody ever talks about how fucking big the asteroid is. Okay, so in Deep Impact, the comet was 7 miles wide. The size of the one that killed the dinosaurs, which was about 10. You know how big the asteroid in Armageddon is? 600 miles. 600 miles wide.
There are simulations on YouTube of what it would look like at various layers of comets hitting the planet. Sorry, meteors, because they're actually hitting. They go into representations of the forces and how they would move. Not just from tsunamis, but okay, at the larger ones, like this, what it would look like if the mantle is being stripped and laid bare as all of the crust is eradicated in the explosion. Yeah. Kind of freaky, man.
That's not an asteroid. That's a moon. That's almost the size of Pluto. Dottie wouldn't be...
Oh, actually, I'm just going to pull this up. Vesta. Oh, actually bringing up Vesta. Eros, Ceres. Bringing up Ceres? Holy shit. I think Eros is the moon for Mars, maybe? I forgot. Vesta, I'm honestly pulling a blank on this one. It's kind of annoying me. Ceres is a dwarf planet within the asteroid belt because the fundamental forces between Mars, Earth, the Sun, and Jupiter utterly tore it apart, so most of the matter is within the belt itself rather than Ceres, which is the largest constellation. And from what I've heard, made up of a lot of liquid water. I'm not talking H2O because I have no idea, but I've heard it's liquid form at least. Charon, which is, I think, considered a dwarf planet now of Pluto, which is also a dwarf planet. Is Charon upgraded to a dwarf planet, or was it still a moon? I don't actually know that part, but I thought I heard, but I'm not entirely sure. Also, Cosmic, if something that big hit us, we're not going to have a good time. Yeah. Also, according to Helios, Vesta is the Windows moon. Mars has Phobos and Deimos. In that case, I have no idea where Eros is. I just assumed it because of the names. Probably Jupiter. It's usually the easy one to say, or Saturn.
Pluto. Dottie wouldn't be jagged and pointy. It wouldn't have a weird cloud of evil surrounding it. It'd be a sphere. NASA didn't just miss the existence of an asteroid, they missed the existence of an undiscovered planetoid.
Yeah.
This thing is fucking Planet Nibiru that was supposed to kill us in 2012. When Billy Bob Thornton said this...
Doesn't matter where it hits. Nothing would survive, not even...
Oh, that wasn't a joke. That's actually him. Okay. Now that I just... I can't wrap my head around that one. If you tell me the guys from Jackass are in here playing serious roles and I just missed it. Oh, okay. Also, Kryn, did you hear of planetary annihilation? It has moon missiles, as in moon the missiles. Kryn, there's a lot of phrases in there that I'm not entirely sure I want to learn about because that sounds terrifying. And very American.
Bacteria.
My God.
He was honestly underplaying the severity. If this thing actually hit, not even the Earth's upper crust would survive.
Oh, hey, the animation I was talking about. Although maybe it's one of the other ones because that's a little more detailed. Yeah, this is the planet reforms levels, which theoretically would be the second time that happened, because I'm pretty sure that's what knocked the matter for the moon into orbit. Not sure it was this big, or it could have been smaller for all I know.
It would have stripped away the entire upper layer of the planet, down to the mantle. Earth would just become liquid for a moment, as everything ripped into space.
Technically, that would be the second time that happened, because again, the moon is the reason. We know that has happened already. Also, I'm being told that's strapping an engine to the moon. Planetary annihilation put engines on the moon and use it as a missile. Considering how much of our entire ecosystem relies on the moon regulating just planetary flows of water, that would be kind of killing the Earth. Seriously, most of the climates we have are based around flows of water that are only stabilized because of the moon pulling water with its gravitational pulls. So, yeah, all of our environment would immediately change if we did that. But if the other option is liquid planet, as in liquid rock planet, yeah, I guess it's a worthwhile change.
Couldn't just have a pretty big asteroid that was big enough to cause a KT-level extinction event. Couldn't even have something twice as big. No, they had to have something 100 times bigger. Yet the plan is to still send Bruce Willis and his team of chucklenuts to blow it up.
You think? Also, I'm being told Planetary Annihilation is a game where you play as robots. Okay. And it's a spiritual successor to Total Annihilation, the best old RTS game.
Get hazard pay out of this?
It's kind of beautiful, isn't it? They just had to make an asteroid with the most dramatic size possible without even thinking about it. Something so big, it accidentally broke the film. I don't care much about scientific realism in movies. As long as the story is entertaining, everything's okay.
At that size, I don't think a nuke would do anything. Like, you'd have to ignite the planet's atmosphere with the amount of hydrogen bombs to change that thing, man.
But man, it's just so funny they made this fake asteroid way too big for no reason. Who knows, maybe they just think you can blow up a planet with a nuke. For any of you Deep Impact
I mean, if you get enough of them, it might start fusion. Ugh.
fans out there, the reason I'm a bit more harsh on Deep Impact than Armageddon is because Deep Impact tries to portray this comet disaster as a serious situation, one where people deal with real emotions surrounding it. Ironically, the closer to reality you are, the easier it is to poke holes in the story. Deep Impact's logic is like a very clean table. If there's a few blotches here or there, they're gonna be noticeable.
And if some of them are brown and some of them are yellow and then a bunch are white, you don't ask any questions, you leave immediately.
Armageddon's logic is like if the table was on fire. All you can really do is just enjoy the pretty flames. Armageddon, not
also known as When I'm Allowed to Cook,
even pretending to be realistic, actually works in its favor. This is clearly operating on a whole different plane of reality. Why?
Suspension of disbelief. And what he's outlining is a very valid thing. If you're trying to do verisimilitude, making people believe something's real, they have to stop thinking about why it's not. And as long as you don't utterly break it by doing something so out of left field that doesn't fit with the internal logic established by whatever medium you're in, you can hold it off. But when you do something saying that this is real, and then there's a random clown floating in the air from one single balloon and no one acknowledges it and just moves on, it's like, oh, suspension of disbelief is gone, and now I can be hypercritical about things that don't make sense. It's kind of weird. Also, if anyone ever tells you it's based on a true story, that is going to be the biggest pile of lies, only second to people who say it's a true story.
Do they send?
Seriously, autobiographies are the greatest fiction out there. Fiction has to make sense. Autobiographies, they just say, well, it happened in real life. And no one should believe that shit.
Oil drillers into space to blow up an asteroid? Because that's the movie, moron. It's like explaining the logic of why these alien robots turn into cars. That nerd locker metaphor wasn't a joke. All of the NASA nerds that aren't this guy are bumbling, unattractive morons.
Deploy solar sails. You'll have a great big canopy.
This is a world where the geeks are wrong and America wins, baby. If this was a realistic situation, and the rock wasn't the size of a planet, then yeah, maybe sending astronauts would have been smart. Ben Affleck would have been right.
Here's the thing, though. The realistic part at this time period would be that no one had a plan at all. So that was pretty accurate. I just think that's hilarious. That's just, yeah, I'll keep coming back to this one. Now, it might have been both movies together that inspired it, but all of the defenses were based on these movies. So I've said it before, and I will say it many more times, probably for more years than I already have. Thank you, Bruce Willis, for saving the Earth in case of a planetary-destroying asteroid ever coming at us. Because, unironically, you have done that IRL by making this stupid movie.
Buddy's wrong, because this isn't real life. This is the movie Armageddon, a space adventure film where our gang of perverts and degenerates fly around from quest to quest before defeating the big rock. And I do mean defeat. You see, for some reason, the asteroid is like an actual sentient villain trying to kill our protagonists.
Bye, Max.
This is not a mindless chunk of rock. Dottie's kind of like Monster House, an entity of its own, purposely designed by the film to be the hardest thing imaginable to drill. It's a space rock with a spooky cloud around it. That's a subtle way of saying that.
Actually, that part kind of makes sense. Debris and gases outgassing from it as it's being ejected is part of what a comet would do. This is not a comet, and at that size, it should have its own gravity. But for a comet, that would actually be a thing. The tail of a comet is exactly this. Sometimes even burning, or reflecting light from the sun. So, minus the size, perfectly accurate. For the size, though, that would just be atmosphere.
This thing is evil. The people who say that you could have just taught astronauts to drill and they would have gotten the job done don't know what they're talking about, because this is an oil driller's worst nightmare. This thing throws everything it can at these drillers, sometimes literally.
Dead.
When the astronauts fail in Deep Impact, it's because the comet's gases are released once they hit sunlight. In Armageddon, the rocks just fucking explode. Why do the rocks explode?
Don't need to know.
The movie makes it very clear that the only person that can defeat this thing is Bruce Willis, just like the only person that can defeat Frieza is Goku.
I'm sorry, what was the little caveat on there? I know Trunks did too. Shut the fuck up. And technically, whoever did it in the future films.
They're drilling through pure metal with a diamond drill, and still that barely works. Bruce Willis has to push the limit of his psychic oil.
Also, for anyone wondering, diamond drills are actually normal. That's how most deep drilling is. Like, diamond tip drills is literally the standard. Just how it does it. They're not like the really super polished ones, but diamond hardness is how you do it because it will go through most anything because it is the hardest thing.
Drilling abilities. It's like a superpower, like Spidey Sense or a stand. Only he and his team have this power and the feeling in their gut to get the job done. Never speak again how astronauts could have gotten the job done. They clearly couldn't have. Watch the damn movie. The Armageddon lore says they couldn't. It's like saying the military could have defeated the kaiju in Pacific Rim. No, you idiot. Only the giant robots can. And in Armageddon, only drillers can defeat an asteroid.
Drill beats rock. That's just how it goes. Don't bring up hand grenade, though. That's an utter cheat. You should never do in the game.
Oh, man, this is stupid.
Yes. I got a rock.
So, allegedly, according to Deep Impact screenwriter, a Disney president, though he doesn't say which one, just stole the idea of doing an asteroid movie. Like, they sat down at lunch, and while having a casual conversation about the movie that eventually became Deep Impact, the president was like, hey, that's pretty cool, jotted down a few notes, and then he just stole it.
Unironically, though, that's not as bad as I thought. There's no corporate espionage involved. It's just someone talking when they shouldn't have. Literally, what were you expecting? That's just, oh, I don't even. That's not even corporate espionage. Normally, when you're trying to steal ideas, it's from some bullshit happening. This is just, I was talking to someone, they thought it was a good idea, and they decided to do their own thing. This is honestly kind of legit that someone in charge saw a good idea and acted on it. That's not usually the case. In fact, good for them. I wasn't expecting to be on Disney's side with this one. Oh, God. Ooh, also, Delta, any chance for Misery of Meat, Kane Ogre by Zactac? I can add it to the list. And we're actually really close. If we get, actually, we should be at 10 already, but whatever. Where is the list? Yeah, we'll put it in. Looks like we have quite a few today.
Allegedly. This is how most twin films are made, by the way.
Twin films? Oh, someone talks about an idea, the other person's like, oh, that's a good idea. Then they do it. Note to self, NDAs are probably the reason that exists in filmmaking.
Two things here. One, Disney being shady. Shocking, I know. Two, wait, Disney made Armageddon? Yeah, they did.
Woman with large breasts. Woman with medium breasts.
Touchstone is a subsidiary of Disney.
You know, I kind of missed the Disney part there. Focusing more on the not as horrible as I thought, missing the, oh God, that's Disney part. Huh. Okay. Also, Nico, movies didn't really inspire the asteroid impact avoidance field. It's been a thing for decades. Probably, but I don't like that story nearly as much.
Basically from a time when they tried to release more mature movies that wouldn't fit under the Disney label. You know, until they...
The Waterboy was Disney. Okay. That's a thing.
Gave up that idea in the 2000s. Let Jerry Bruckheimer go wild. That was my Disney renaissance. In my very educated opinion, what I'm imagining Disney did was look at the idea of Deep Impact and go, yeah, that's cool, I guess, but we gotta spice it up. Realistic melodrama about a comet impact? Boring. Let's explode the fucking Russian space station. That's really what Armageddon is. It's an excuse to have the most unlikely people possible be responsible for the fate of the world.
That's literally the thing you do in fiction. It's not the people who are good at a job doing the job correctly. It's what kind of group of misfits who are going to have shenanigans do we get to do something interesting? in a previous video, we saw the quote from Brandon Sanderson about magic is interesting because of the people using it. This is exactly what we're looking at. The crazy explosion things are interesting because it's crazy people doing crazy things in crazy ways, and that makes it interesting. So, yeah, that works. Also, I just saw Duck go, thanks, Disney. Oh, jeez.
Impact is more like a traditional disaster film without the
Literally.
schlock. Armageddon stays focused on the main group.
They kind of had the shock in the beginning when New York got hit by the first precursors, so yeah.
These movies are doing two entirely different things. Hey, at least Deep Impact has the better emotional arc between father and daughter. Right?
She left me. She's with her mother. They both got scared. Come, I want to talk to you. I need you.
When it comes to the father-daughter dynamic, Armageddon did it better. Yeah, that's...
I guess it makes sense. Bruce Willis actually gets to be a main character as opposed to the father and daughter in Deep Impact who were side characters other than the beginning. And then everything else. Hey, what's up, Martin?
Right, I said it. Alright, look. The relationship between Harry and his daughter, Arwen of Rivendell, is all...
Oh shit, no wonder I recognize her. Wait, that means we had Elijah Wood in Deep Impact. We have Arwen in Armageddon. Did they just get their entire stock from these movies or something? No, wait, they also got characters from The Matrix. Hugo Weaving was in The Matrix right before this. Shit, that actually was just how they got everyone, wasn't it?
All over the place. I'm not denying that. At the start of the movie, she doesn't even call him Dad for some reason.
Hi, Harry.
I have asked you repeatedly to call me Dad.
Sorry, Harry.
And I do mean, for some reason. It's just never specified. They drop her doing this almost immediately. We're introduced to them having a whole spat where she says she's a woman now and he shouldn't control her, and she says she's gonna quit and they fight about it. Harry almost kills Ben Affleck with a shotgun. But then once they learn about the asteroid, this whole dynamic is just dropped. The rest of the time he's on Earth, she's like a second in command, someone he bounces all his thoughts off of. Their dynamic becomes a loving father-daughter relationship. When they leave, she just sits around worrying on Earth. So like, why even have this whole spat at the beginning? Why even introduce them so antagonistically?
Close! Now! Stop! Alright, it was funny for a minute, it's not funny anymore!
It's because Michael Bay movies best convey exposition through fighting. They had to get all that back.
Really? Shit, he's right. I was kind of wondering where they were going with this one. It was like, but then that's actually not even a bad thing. It's not even a dig at Michael Bay. Because exposition, while it can be done well if you have a correct audience with the correct format, with someone who knows how to create riveting dialogue, such as, and I can't believe I'm going to reference this one, the story in Jaws, before you had to deal with the shark, well, right before the climax, where they're talking about their previous, well, lives, essentially. I'm skipping a lot of information here, but we're just talking about what's going on in the ship right before the climax. That's a gripping moment in its own right. And it's just talk, telling you things, not showing you, telling you the story. It's exposition about character. That can be done. But a lot more often, having something happen in a fight is great. It's why a lot of people has a shorthand to get exposition through without just having to tell you the information you need, such as a narrator telling you, here is exactly what's happening right now, or the Star Wars opening scroll telling you the preamble to the story itself. They'll have the character say, okay, so what was the plan again? Because this way, you're not getting the exposition, you're getting the recap, which is also telling the audience everything that the character missed. So, yeah, having things happen in a fight establishes the dynamic, who's doing what are the relationships, and it also then draws the fight in because you're not telling the audience the story and then nothing happens. You're getting it while things are blowing up, which is the Michael Bay style. And it's actually surprisingly good because it gives the flashy, attention-grabbing TikTok second video effect while also delivering the information that normally would be more static. I mean, it works.
Story out somehow. Had to convey that Harry's daughter spent her whole life on the oil rig.
Look, I was raised on Roughnecks by you, and now you get all shocked and shaken when I fall in love with one.
And also is in a relationship with Ben Affleck. After the strange opening, though, I like these two better than these two. Mainly by the fact that Harry's wife is dead from natural causes, and not because he divorced her for a younger woman. Hi, Future Cody here, editing this video. I don't know why I said the wife died in Armageddon. She just left them.
Oh, years earlier, wife abandoned the two of them, forcing them to raise her alone. Oh, or forcing him to raise them alone. I kind of forgot all about this shit.
Them a long time ago.
Since I reached the age of 10 and became older than you, Harry, since Mom split, why don't you take your pick?
I think I got my wires crossed with Deep Impact. This project's hurting my brain.
Yeah.
Speaking of divorce, Ben Affleck. He is certainly Ben Affleck. This relationship subplot sucks so much, dude, I'm gonna be honest. Like, I'm being very forgiving towards this film, but you gotta have standards somewhere. I just don't care about these two. They're the worst part of the movie. Like, Bruce Willis actually makes a good point about why she fell in love with him.
Harry, AJ is my choice and not yours.
He's the only one in your age bracket, Grace.
They were the only ones within each other's age range.
Seriously? Yeah, no, that makes sense. I know the climax because my wife tells me about it frequently. She loves the ending and how emotional it is, which is why it's there. But that is kind of creepy. Like, even a single line of other boyfriends off the rig would have made that less creepy. I guess they didn't put that in. Was it something that was cut out, or they just not put it in because probably making his objection more meaningful because he's not misguided in saying so. I don't know if changing that would make it better then. I don't know, and that's kind of disturbing in its own right.
That's it. Even if they had a great dynamic, which they don't, it'd all be thrown out the window because of that scene. You know the scene. The damn animal cracker scene. My god.
Way down under.
They Tony Hawk grind railed right on that line. As awkward as this scene already is, the love ballad just makes it so much worse.
What?
Don't wanna close my eyes.
Mainly because the song is being sung by Steven Tyler of Aerosmith, also known as Liv Tyler's actual dad. Imagine.
Wait, really? Oh, that is so many levels of creepy. Oh, I did. And then just, oh God, that is, what could, oh God, did she know? I would, oh, please tell me when the movie is premiering, she didn't know what music was going to be chosen. It's like, oh, why are we, oh, the utter look of revulsion when just hearing her dad singing over the definitely Disney-fied sex scene. Oh God, that is literally the worst possible option. That's like if your dad's Barry Manilow, you don't do romantic music ever again. Oh God.
Even singing a love ballad over a scene of your real-life daughter being intimate with animal crackers. Just kind of odd.
I mean, the animal crackers make it worse.
Oh boy, that song. The only thing people really remember about this movie. The only Aerosmith song.
I don't want to miss a thing by Aerosmith with #1 on the Billboard for Hot 100 for 4 weeks in 1998. It was the band's first and only #1 single in the United States. Wait, really? For some reason, I thought Aerosmith just did better. Oh, that's okay. Also, Croc mentioned technically Liv Tyler is now a Disney princess. Oh shit, that's right. She technically would count as a Disney princess because this was an imprint of Disney. Huh. Okay.
Song to ever reach #1. So funny story about this song. It's
2020?
April 2020. I'm getting married. Like, my wedding was set for April 20.
Dude. We went 2 months after this with my wife. And yeah, it was just as weird as you think.
2020. If you remember anything about that time, Not great. Everything shut down at the end of March. This
Yeah. As someone who is basically a nerd who knew only people through online and didn't do shit, literally nothing about my life changed. That doesn't make it better.
This was a time before masks. This was a time before any of that. They just told everyone.
Oh yeah, the pandemic game. Oh god.
To not go outside at all.
Way ahead of you. I don't do that anyways.
In my state, public gatherings were banned. Our big wedding had been reduced to just a few people.
Yeah, that few people was literally everyone me and my wife knew. Neither one of us has huge friend groups, so it was actually very easily accommodated.
Like, even the organist didn't show up. So, as a last
Didn't have one of those either.
Instead of having the ceremony be played by a piano organ, it was played instead by a YouTube song playlist. Like, a phone was connected by aux to the church speakers and stuff.
Unironically, I've been to multiple weddings, not during the pandemic where they did this anyway, so... yeah. Sure, why not?
Dead. Played classical music, you know? Overall, went alright. Wife and I got married, good times.
Yeah.
But as we were walking
No one
away
got COVID
from the
either.
altar, going right down the aisle, something happened.
What?
The phone that was playing classical music switched randomly to something else. I am not making this up, I swear to God. Somehow, it switched to this fucking song.
For the wedding? Sure. For everyone around, it's like, I don't want to miss a thing. That is incredibly creepy. Oh, that is so horrible. I love it. Sorry, is it bad I enjoy disaster stories for other people's weddings? I got lucky. I dodged a bullet on that one in multiple senses of the word because, oh, dear God. Brother-in-law, ex-brother-in-law, nearly got beaten down from some of the shit he pulled, but yeah, there was a story there.
This exact scene is how my wedding went down. In the middle of an event that felt like the world was ending by sheer coincidence. This movie is forever tied to a key event in my life, against my will, just like how Transformers 4 is. Why does this keep happening to me?
Oh, also McTar, I know Plague Inc. was 2012. Oh yeah, I know, I played it a lot. Apparently, its sales took off in 2022 or in 2021. I'm not sure what that says about humanity, but it's moderately terrifying.
Both movies have something that I like.
Also, I'm being told by Razors, I'm just going to pull this comment up because it does answer my question. Yeah, here we go. His first date with his now wife was watching a Transformers movie. Michael Bay haunts this guy. Bay is connected to Cody's life in very odd ways. Oh my God, yeah. Oh, that's kind of perfect.
Call the Beta Asteroid. Basically a test asteroid that hits so the audience understands the stakes. In Deep Impact, the comet splits in two, with the smaller one slamming into the Atlantic, while in Armageddon, a big chunk just hits Paris. Considering this is the climax of the film, I'd say Deep Impact does the scene better. Jenny and her dad, you know, die. New York is obliterated. It has that killer motocross scene. Deep Impact had the worst outcome by far.
Yeah.
Every country bordering the Atlantic got hit hard by a massive tsunami. That wave was bigger than the Twin Towers. There is no way Western Europe or Africa survived that. Meanwhile, Armageddon just has Paris get destroyed. Sure is crazy how many of these space rocks keep landing on major cities. They never seem to land in the middle of a forest.
Yeah, also way too small of an explosion. For example, if you want to see what some of the extinction level asteroid impacts look at, I'm going to pull one up quickly. Because you might have heard of this one. I'm not sure if it's Chicxulub. I'm probably butchering the name here. The Yucatan Peninsula Impact Crater. Oh, I did not spell any of that correctly. Oh, no, never mind. This actually is the Chicxulub crater. Yeah. This is in Mexico, where technically the asteroid might have hit. Wikipedia, impact crater underneath Yucatan Peninsula. Chicxulub crater is an impact crater buried beneath Yucatan Peninsula. Mexico named Chicxulub Peninsula. 66 million years ago, the asteroid 10 kilometers struck the Earth. Yep. So roughly the dinosaur killing one. I'm just going to pull up a map option. So we saw that bit of the Yucatan Peninsula. Now, what would that look like on a map? Just going to see here. This is the Yucatan Peninsula right here. The crater impact is in the water. Ah, they don't have the outline of it. You could kind of see the edge of it, though. Yeah, here we go. One further back. And these are the images we're looking for. Like, this is what a crater would look like. This is the estimation of how big it would be. And you come over here and see that so much of the land was based around that. You can even see the slight outline of where it would have hit. Wish there was a higher res outside of the ocean. They stopped generating the picture straight here. You could actually see some of the lines, some of the other shots. But yeah, that is pretty big.
I like that for some reason that Arch survived somehow.
Yeah.
While Deep Impact had the better impact, Armageddon had the better sacrifice. I already didn't care too much for the astronauts, and they didn't do much the entire movie other than sacrifice Jon Favreau like this was a game of Kerbal.
My God.
/ Bruce Willis, on the other hand, has like 90% of the screen time in Armageddon, so of course that sacrifice had more impact. It's a pretty good misdirection too, with Ben Affleck thinking he's gonna be the one to press the button, but then he gets pushed back inside and told to live a good life. I like this final scene. Probably could have gone without the weird flashbacks right before he presses the button, but
yeah.
Creative differences. What can I say? While the comet
I mean, the understanding behind that is life flashes before your eyes. They just had it flash before the audience as well.
Explodes into a bunch of smaller pieces in Deep Impact, Armageddon has the asteroid split directly in half. Perfect 2 pieces.
Damn.
Right outside the atmosphere. Like, the distance...
I mean, unironically, if you frack it in the right way, could it be possible? With more time, sure, but the forces are absurd. With this, like, they're basically saying crack a planet in half right now.
But
who cares? It's a fun movie. Just turn your brain off.
They still narrowly miss the Earth. I love this movie. And so, Armageddon ends with an object the size of Texas splitting in half and passing by Earth like this was the end of Phantom Planet.
What?
So,
I have no idea what Phantom Planet is, so that makes no sense to me.
I'm gonna be honest. I had an entirely different ending to this video.
Oh?
Originally, I was gonna bring up a third asteroid movie, Greenland.
I've never even heard of that one. Okay. I was thinking more Melancholia, but that's just more depressing minor planet hits the... Actually, nope, never mind. That's not even different because technically Armageddon had a minor planet or a demi-planet size object hitting the planet.
I swear I'm gonna get my family into that bunker.
It had nothing to do with this whole twin film thing. It was just a neat asteroid movie that came out in 2020, and nobody saw it. But here's the thing. It's...
Yeah, but for obvious reasons, disaster movies probably wouldn't be big on the, hey, don't be really fun, remind us of the world ending right now. I'm sure that didn't have anything to do with it.
Pretty serious movie. Like, it's just really cynical. The anti-Deep Impact, if you will. In 1998, people were riding that high of American exceptionalism. So in that movie, the government's like this benevolent, kind figure. In just a really naive way, honestly. Meanwhile, in Greenland, the government just doesn't tell people an asteroid's gonna hit. They just lie. They tell all the important people...
Wait, what did it say? Bring one personal bag to Robins Air Force Base, Warner Robins, Georgia at 9:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
People.
Warner Robins, Georgia at 9:49 p.m. Eastern Time. Your QR code.
Just not you. What a difference 20 years can make to our perception of the federal government. So yeah, I rewrote the ending to the...
The oddity part is it's not even the first time governments have been perceived that way. They go in cycles. America's just been going very slowly. Also, according to Duck, Moonfall is good, but to start with the end of Roland Emmerich film is odd. I don't know who Roland Emmerich is, so it's probably the one we're looking at right now.
This video. Why did I...
Also, according to Raw, Phantom Planet was a Danny Phantom movie. Oh. That makes sense. Probably phased through the Earth then.
do that? Well, Greenland's just kind of a bummer. It's a good movie, but it's about people killing each other and society collapsing, and that's not really funny. But who wants to end like that?
In 2020. A movie about society collapsing in 2020. Unless that came out in January, oh God. There's timing, and then there's just shooting yourself in the dick, man. That'd be like if Family decided to do the Held videos on 9/12.
Also, I didn't want to end this.
Also, according to Nico, Greenland got a sequel not too long ago. Really? How would that work out? Let me guess, something along the lines of Greenland 2, Asteroid Harder. Oh my God. Also, Rod, thank you very much. AFB is my workplace. My condolences. Mostly because Georgia and I can't do anything with heat in the slightest. There's like a line in the hemisphere. If I go further under it, I start dying visibly on the outside. Does not work. I do not do heat.
Video by planting the idea in your head that if we were ever going to get hit by an asteroid, the government might not even tell us. Now that I think about it, I'm kind of just ending this video like that anyway, since I just told you that.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. See y'all in 2032.
Chance of Earth being hit by an asteroid in 2032, double. Yeah, but if we already know where the asteroid is, then we can deal with it. We've already booped something. We already know how to move them. It's not that big a deal. If we didn't know about it, though, that would be bad. I can't wait to make a Pearl Harbor romance movie. Michael Bay, director of Ambulance, 2022. I'm sorry, what? No. No. That can't be real. That can't be real. That can't be. It's probably real, isn't it? Oh, God. Ooh, also, Martin, you're in Thailand right now. The heat isn't too bad. You have a high spice tolerance. Oh, not bad. For me, though, it's the humidity. And that's what gets me. That's why I can do desert before anywhere else. Either way, though, that was a trip. And I do like seeing the differences between the more kind of optimistic and naive, but at the same time, very hard-hitting, very calm, like disturbingly calm, Deep Impact, versus the Michael Bay movie that went full Michael Bay and somehow was slightly less creepy with the dad-daughter storyline. You know, the more they pointed out the differences, the more I'm like, this is creepy. Being with the dad at the end is just creepy. Especially sons. Every time they had him talk on screen, I'm like, are you her father, or are you trying to recruit her for something illegal? I couldn't tell the difference. Now, I haven't seen Deep Impact. I only know Armageddon through multiple spoilers and multiple clips of probably the entire movie, but never in the right order. I don't know why there's been multiple movies I've consumed that way. It doesn't make sense to me either. I don't look to do it that way. It just kind of happens. But the Deep Impact one sounds a little, not my thing. I probably would have hated it because the sheer sense of hopelessness in it utterly does not work with me. I cannot stand hopelessness. We got enough in real life. We don't need more in fiction. But at the same time, it's weird to say, oh yeah, the Michael Bay movie that's hopeful and didn't make some horrible mistakes. At the same time, we saw some of the horrible mistakes, but they just weren't the focus of the movie. Yeah, the more I saw about the entire song they were playing with Aerosmith and realizing who's related to who, I did not know that! All of that? I knew about the songs. I didn't know about that scene, mostly because I just didn't care enough. The relationship, though. Nope. I had no idea whatsoever. I did not know they were related. I did not know they knew each other. Apparently they might have. Oh God, that is, someone had to have sat down with him and go, hey, you sure you want to have the definitely PG sex scene with her dad singing it? someone had to know in production. And I'm assuming they kept their mouth shut because who wants to break that news? Yeah, there were choices made. Yeah. Oh, God. Either way, though, it is a fascinating take on this, and I just love everything about what's going on here. Just seeing those interactions and how, even if the story about Disney getting the idea because someone talked about it, it's like, oh, that's a great idea. We're going to do it too. And just taking the idea. That's not even close to the worst thing I've heard Disney do. So I'm kind of like, oh, neat. Using a good idea and capitalizing on it when you hear it without wasting time. I'm hoping it's real because that's the most competence I've seen displayed by the president of a company ever. And I kind of love hearing something pleasant for once. In 2026, it's the little things that matter. I'm going to take it, damn it. You guys know the deal. There's a link below to the original video. Hit it up. I'll see you in the next one. Adios.